Hi everyone, it's Andrea here with Crafts on the Move. I'll tell you, I just don't know why I get so giddy every time right before I go live. It's so comical to me. And then that just makes me laugh even more. But this time I didn't have to run to the truck, so I am not out of breath. I'm super excited to be doing the craft along. I wanted to go over a couple of things because there is a ton of stuff going on at the store in the next couple of weeks. So tomorrow I'm starting a new program, and for June, for the month of June, it is the 5th, I believe the 12th and the 19th. They're all Thursdays. So the first Thursdays in June, I'm offering a free card with a purchase of $35. So you buy $35 in product and you can make one of two cards during that visit. You have to make them during the visit. We will supply everything, so you do not need to bring anything. So if you decide on your way home from work, it's for the moment that you want to stop in and do a little shopping or make the card, it's $7 to make the card. You can do so. You don't need anything. We're going to provide everything. And then how this is going to work is you're going to come in and you're going to tell me which card you want to make. I'm going to have two areas, one for each card, and each area will have either a computer or an iPad, and I have already filmed the video for this, so you will craft along with the YouTube video, and of course I'll be in the store to help you out. And then the same with this, I'm going to film the video tonight, and you can make your card right in the store. So I'm super, super excited. All right. So this starts tomorrow, and then what's going to happen is once the kits sell out, I'm going to make another kit with a completely different card. So it's just going to be a continuous rotation of cards until the current ones are sold out. That will allow you guys to try different products, make different special occasion cards. And then in July, we're going to probably move it to probably Fridays. The reason I made it in Thursdays on June is because I'm going to the trade show, and I just wanted to make sure I could maximize as many days as possible. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it's a huge success and we can keep going on in the future with this program. All right, so that is that. Aren't they gorgeous? I just absolutely love this. I made this one last night while I was filming, so it's nice and super fresh. The inks are not dull. They're nice and bright. And then this one was made a couple weeks ago, and I absolutely love this one. And I think it's been a mix of who wants what, but I know a lot of people want a Father's Day card, so I have a feeling this one's going to be popular. This one I'm only making, I think I have 7 kits. And this one I have 6 or 7, so there's not a ton. And then, like I said, $35 in product before taxes and everything. You can make it for free, or they're $7 a piece. All right, the next thing that I'm hoping to launch today or tomorrow is the Swatch and Learn. So the registration is open. Hi, Rosaria. Welcome. So the Swatch and Learn is a technique tag book. It's 6 weeks of challenges. I'm going to film the challenges and post them on YouTube. So you register online, you come in store, I'll mail you your tag book. Everybody will get a tag book minus the ribbon. You guys can pick whatever your favorite color ribbon is. I picked some pinks because that's the color of the store logo. And you're going to go through your book and make your own swatches. And the swatches are technique based. Now, couple of things. So I will be issuing a challenge every week. It will be on YouTube. You're to go if you're participating. If you're not participating, you can still check out the videos. I'm going to open up the videos for everybody so everybody can check and see what we're doing. But if you want to participate and earn some prizes, win some prizes, you need to register. And then you'll get your tag book and you'll be entered into the event on the 13th of July. The tag book comes with a few different papers. So we have the Basil Marshmallow Heavy Cardstock. It's 110 pound. And then the Hammer Mill Premium Cardstock. Everybody's books are going to look just like this except for the ribbon. So you'll get your labels. You have the nice pink. I put pink tags in here. Hi, Nina, to separate the different papers. So that you have your Hammer Mill. Then you have some Basil Black Licorice Twist Heavy Cardstock, which is also 110 pound. I'm pretty sure it's 110 pound. Might be 100. Then this is Canson XL Mixed Media. This is 98 pound paper. And this is the paper I use for our art journaling class. It's a very lightweight paper, but it sure is durable, and it really does well with a lot of wet techniques. And then this is one of my very favorite. This is the Strathmore 400 series. This is the mixed media vellum surface paper, and it is nice and heavy and so smooth. And I absolutely love this paper. It's great for watercoloring. And then lastly, we have some Spellbinders watercolor cardstock. It's the 110, which is 300 grams, which we will be doing. So we're going to be doing some different techniques that are going to apply a lot of water, which is why I included some of the other mixed papers. But then the other goal is to try the same technique on different papers and see what results you get and what you like. And then on the back, you're going to write what you did. So this is for you to take notes. And then for everybody that buys the book, you will get 1 pack of this size label, so 1 sheet of 8 labels, and those you can use to write on your back if you want, the back of the black. So you write down your notes, and then you can stick the label on the back of the black if you want. And I will hopefully get the challenge posted for this week. There will also be bonus challenges, and if you go and when you register, you'll see there are going to be some in-store events as well, and those are more so for products that maybe not everybody has. So we will be hosting days where you bring your book in and you make the challenge in the store. So how this is going to work is each tag that you complete is going to be worth 5 tokens. On the 13th of July, I'm hosting an event in the store. It's a Sunday. I think it's at 10:30 in the morning. We're going to have a couple more stations to do some more techniques. And then from 1 to 2, we're going to do the auction. And the auction, I will be auctioning off really nice prizes. So there will be at least $200 worth of prizes auctioned off. And you'll use your tokens to auction to buy the auction prizes. If you can't make it to the auction, I'm giving everybody, I already have a free gift. Everybody will get a free gift if you can't make it. So regardless if you can come or not, everybody's going to get a gift or a prize. But if you come to the auction, you'll more than likely end up with some press plates and stuff like that. Because then you can pick and choose. Because if you don't have a press plate, the letterpress, you may not want the press plate. All right. So any questions, let me know. We should be friends since we hang out. It should be Nina, Rosaria, and Melanie. That would be fun. And Holly. All right. So that is the Swatch and Learn. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Once I get all the email registrations in, I will start emailing the registrants. You can join up until I think like the 10th of July. You're just going to have to backlog all those events or the technique challenges, which is another reason why I'm posting everything on YouTube, because then I don't have to worry about the 30-day rule. So everything will be up on YouTube. And then I'll throw in probably a couple challenges in the emails and stuff like that. So make sure you read, all your emails and stuff like that. And then, of course, try to come in to the ones at the store. All right. Super excited. I can't wait to start working on this. I'm really looking forward to having my own technique tag album. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get into the craft along, and this might go a little bit longer, or I might have to cut something short. But I'm going to first start with what I think is the least messiest and kind of work our way to the messiest. That way we don't have to spend time cleaning up. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to do, so everything tonight features this Crafters Workshop Stencil Butter. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer the stencil butter using the Better Press. And this is a previous one I did in a different live, probably like a year ago, when I was experimenting with the Better Press and different types of mediums that you could use. This is a registration plate, and so you can see there's two different colors. And then this also was done on the Better Press, again using a plate, but not a registration. And this is a plaid one from Pink Fresh Studio, and you just turn the paper. And so one direction you do one color stripes, and then you clean it, and the second direction you do a different, if you wanted to. And that's how I got this really pretty image. And it's kind of hard to see. No, maybe you guys can see the shimmer. You can totally see the shimmer, right? So you can see the shimmer. The shimmer transfers really nicely using the Better Press. What I did for these, if I am correct, is I used one of this Crafters Workshop brushes. But tonight we're going to try the brayer, because we're going to be doing a lot of stuff with the brayer. And so I have a 4-inch rubber speedball brayer. That's what I'm going to be using. So you want a nice firm rubber brayer. And if you're going to do this with your Better Press, you need a plate. And I'm using a nice big heavy plate so it doesn't move around a lot. And because I feel like you'll be able to see the shimmer more with the bigger plate on the camera. And then I'm going to use, tonight I'm going to be working with the turquoise butter. So everybody in the comments, oh, and I'm giving a gift away. I have so comment if you're joining us. I'm giving the store sample of the columns embossing folder. So I will do the drawing during the next Craft Along Live. But I need to see your names. So you need to comment so I can see your names. And then I'll enter you into the drawing. And then I'll do the drawing on the next Craft Along, which might be on the calendar. I can't remember. But this is an awesome folder. It's a really great everyday folder. And it was released last year. And I'm going to start filtering through some of the store supplies, since I don't need it all. All right. So what you're going to do is get your, I think this is the platen. I can't remember which one's the platen and which one's not, but you want to get your paper ready on the clear part of your Better Press. And I am just using regular 110-pound cardstock. I'm not using the cotton paper. You can. It works really well too. But for the demo, I'm going to be using the 110. I'm not really worried about getting the debossed. I'm more concerned about getting the shimmer and the color transferred. And what I'm going to do is I have my nonstick craft mat over here, and I'm going to put a little bit of the stencil butter on my mat to the side, and you're going to definitely want wipes and a towel. So this is going to be super important for cleanup, because this you might get a little messy. Please don't yell at me. And I forgot to put my apron on. I was going to wear my apron. So who is crafting along? And I'm not seeing a ton of comments. Let's see. Do I need to jar the, oh, there's some comments. So Nina and Rosario are hooking up. And all right. So I'm going to take a little scoop. About, no, that's kind of a big scoop. That's about, I don't know, a teaspoon. I'm going to just spread it right there on my craft mat. And then I'm going to actually wipe the little bit of residue off my palette knife here. And yes, I'm using a very, very old, this is probably one of my very first old Wilton cake decorating offset spatulas. It's wood handled. I don't think they make those anymore. And the first thing you can do is if you're using, yes, you're crafting. All right. That's awesome, Nina. You can try it with the brush. So I recommend you try all different types of ways to apply the ink and figure out what works best. Now, here's the bonus. We went over the stencil, the Swatch and Learn. So if you're doing the Swatch and Learn, I'm going to make this a bonus. So if you have the stencil butters, and don't forget you can go back and play. Just make sure you do it before 30 days is up. You make a couple of swatches if you're crafting along, and then just cut them out, cut the pieces out and glue it into one of your tags, and then write what you did. All right. So that will be a bonus. So that if you do like 2 tags, you'll get 10 tokens. But I'm going to use the brush for half of my press plate. And then I'm going to use the brayer for the bottom half. And then we'll press it. And I forgot to bring a jar of water. So if you're using a brush, you might want to have a container of water. If you don't, the next best thing is just to have some wet wipes and wrap your bristles with the wipes. Now, I have a feeling I see I got that in the grooves here. So I got it in the grooves. That's probably going to be an issue. All right, so I'm just going to do about half, and I'm going to try and get some of this extra off, and then I'm just going to take my wipe and wrap it around just to keep that moist so it doesn't dry out while we're live. And then the next thing I'm going to do is going to take my brayer, excuse me, I'm going to shift this over a little, and I'm just going to bray this out a little bit on my mat, and spray it right onto the plate. You can already see a huge difference. Okay, I ended up braying over the top, but that's okay. I had a feel, I knew I was going to do that too. So because I did that, because I want you to see the brush strokes. That's why I didn't want to do that. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm going to put my top on with my paper down. The magnetic latch will latch it, and then I'm going to run this through my machine over here. I'm making the cake cards and then doing all this later tonight for tomorrow. All right, Rosaria, awesome. So I'm just running this right through my platinum machine, and here we are. Are you ready? Let's take a look. Really nice. Definitely, you can tell it was heavier on the top. And you can see a little bit where it had gotten into the grooves, but if you leave it and let it dry, it will just dry like that. And it'll be a little raised. If I start to mess with it now, I'm just going to smear it. But it really, can you see that shine? Really nice shine. And that is a really good transfer. Phenomenal. So you can use the stencil butter on this. I absolutely love it. And then just make sure you take care of your plate. If you have any questions, let me know if you're trying this. I'm going to put a wipe down on this as well. And I'm putting my cover back on, but my image is on top. Actually, I'm going to take this off. Be careful. This probably does need to dry. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Really nice. And then this particular press plate comes with a stencil set, so then you can go in, and I was thinking it would be pretty to color these pink. That's why I picked the turquoise. And then I think the pine cone is a separate stencil, so you can do that in a different color too. And the greens. It's a couple layer stencil. So really cool. There's that. And then, like I said, these were a couple I did with the registration plates. Okay, that is done for that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe this up, and we're going to do something a bit unusual. And I've been holding on to this little trick for a while. Just because I didn't have enough time to really play, and we're gonna see what happens. So this next trick, we're going to actually pipe with pastry bags. And you're going to need the light and fluffy modeling paste, and I'm going to mix it with the purple stencil butter to get its color. And then I have a tip that I now have reserved for cake, or not cake decorating, for paper crafting. And we're going to pipe some shells along this border of the ganache gâteau cake. So this is what got me all started. And I thought it would be fun to do grass. So these are the samples I made a while ago. So this is the grass. This is the grass tip for cake decorating. And I used the lime green stencil butter with the light and fluffy. And the nice thing about this particular modeling paste, it's got some kind of not epoxy or something, but something that has a little give. So these are actually not dry and brittle and breaking. They're actually keeping their shape as I'm pressing down. And I made this months ago. I made this before Easter. I'm sure if I went that way, they would crack. But right now, if I go like this, they are not breaking. They're not brittle at all. And then this is the shell. So this is a shell. This is what I'm going to do tonight around this area. So for this, and I think I forgot to list something on your supplies, and I'm really sorry. You're going to need some kind of a container to mix your stencil butter and your fluffy paste. So what I would recommend doing on this is have whatever you're stenciling on ready to go, because I do think it will dry quick, and so it won't be as pliable. And have your piping bag ready. You can use plastic disposable bags. You can use Ziploc bags. I'm using the parchment, and I'm just going to snip the top so the tip can poke out. And the other thing I was thinking, this would be really fun on these. So how cool would it be to paint this and then make this look like a decorated cake on top, and then make this like some kind of little birthday cake or birthday present? How fun would that be? And then you could store stuff on the inside. But you could decorate this with a shell border and then write something on top with this, with the piping, with the fluff paste. And if you were in person and you looked really close, you actually would see some of the shimmer in the green. It's hard that one's really hard to see on the camera. So I'm just getting my bag ready. So who's doing this? I don't see a lot of chit chat going on. Some people are going to be sad they missed out on this one. All right, I'm going to set my cake to the side. I'm going to open up my modeling fluff, and you're going to see this is really light and airy. I'm just going to scoop some out. It's like whipped cream. It's divine. And I need enough to squeeze in my piping bag. So I'm just going to take a bit. So this is great also if you have some and you're like not sure when you're going to use it again and you don't want it to dry out. You can, use up a good amount of it then. And then I'm going to grab some of the stencil butter. And I will say, I think the best thing for this is to use some of the darker colors, because once you start mixing it with the white, it mutes down the color. So I'm going to grab about the same amount I had earlier, and I'm just going to mix these together. And it's like icing, but don't eat this, okay? And I wish I had I have some rubber spatula or silicone spatulas for paper crafting, but I left them at home. So you can see how nice that is. It's really like the texture of peanut butter. So I'm just blending this until I don't really see much white streaks or purples. And I'm sure you can add more color if you want, but I'm really happy with this. There are other ways to color. Oh, look, I got the wrong lid on here. There are other ways to color the modeling paste. All right, now I'm going to put the colored modeling paste into my parchment bag. I just have some in here. How cool is this? What do you guys think? Some of you have seen it because I showed you the samples in the store. Some of you have not. It's like your first time. And I did do some research. You can do this with, what is it, like DAP spackle, but I think that dries, like gets brittle. So if that's something you want to do, I would try it first, but I have seen it. You might have to also coat it with a fixative or shellac. All right. Oh, look at that. Doesn't it look like, hi, Tammy. Look at that. Looks like icing. Isn't that cool? Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm going to discard this. I don't need it. And I am going to pipe. So I ended up putting, this is part of the Ganache Gâteau die set. And it actually is a drip icing. But since I don't really know what I'm doing, the drip icing has a perforation, so I actually just cut it off. And the reason I glued this on is so that I have a line of where I know I need to pipe. So it gives me kind of a guide. And if you're curious about this, because maybe you haven't seen it, this is a sample I made that's just hanging out in my bag. It's not complete. I didn't like that these went upside down. I would have preferred it this way, but you can get an idea of what the cake looks like. And then I have one more, and this one reminds me of my Earth Day cake, like an Earth Day cake, but this is a completed one. I just haven't put it on a card. So you get an idea of how these look with the paper. Actually, we'll just keep that out. I'm going to move that purple. All right, let's pipe. You could do rosettes. These are really big. I didn't want them that big. There you go. How cool is that? Now I'm going to do it on the bottom. I'm going to do it, I guess, coming from the opposite. Oh boy. There we go. Look at that. And then if you want, you could fill this in. So maybe, should I fill it in? I feel like I need one more. There we go. Like that. What do you think? Is that cool? How cool is that? All right, I think I can still use this. So I am going to tighten this up. And I'm going to put it in, I have a baggie over here for now, just so, you know. I like that. I think that is so cool. Holy smokes. It looks so much better than I thought it was gonna. That is cool. I don't see any comments, so hopefully you guys are crafting. All right, I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. Wow, I really like that. Next, we're going to go to rubber stamps. So we're going to use the brayer again, and we're going to stamp it. And I have a sample here. The best way for me to do this is just to leave the stamp down like such. Oh, I thought I had a better stamp. It's not that this is not a good stamp. I thought I had a, one moment. There's a stamp I wanted here. No. Oh, it wasn't a stamp. It was a stencil. Okay. My mistake. So this is the sample I made, and it's using this stamp and the stencil butter, and you can see the shimmer on this in person. All right, I'm covered in purple stencil butter. Oh, that's fun. So do you mail that or I would hand deliver it. I mean, it's pretty sturdy, that stuff, but they're kind of, you know how they are with the mail sometimes. But how did it look cool? Or were you guys digging it? I can't see the comments because my camera is like right in the middle of them all. But this is what we're going to do next. And I'm going to use the teal again. And same thing, I'm just going to grab a little bit of this. And I have some 8.5 by 5.5 pieces of paper set aside over here. And I found it was easier to bring the paper to the stamp than put this in any kind of a stamping platform. So I'm going to grab a little bit of this and see. So I'm going to show you how that ended up, but you can kind of see the shimmer on this. And I'm going to wipe off my palette knife. And you're going to take your brayer and you're just going to kind of roll it around, get your brayer nice and coated, nice and thin, and then just roll it over your rubber stamp. Get it nice and coated. Look at that. Great, right? And then take your paper. I'm going to add a little bit more. I don't know why. You can mix your stencil butters too. I'm just sticking with one. Take your paper. You can't really see it. Let me scooch down a little. There we go. It's a little bit better, right? All right. Take your paper and place it over, and then you can do one of two things. Now, you see I have the overhang. So if you have extra paper hanging around, you can just place it over, press down, or you can take your brayer and just roll it off and press it down. And that's how I got this. This is from my brayer, and that's how I transferred the paint or the stencil butter. Is it paint? What do you guys think? I am covered in purple. Okay, just making sure I'm not missing anything. So don't forget, if you want to be in the drawing for that embossing folder, please comment so I know to add you for the drawing next week. All right. Look at that. Really nice. So this would be a nice quick background. I could have added a little bit more. I've been a little bit heavier. I was a little light. So let's try it one more time. I still got some on my mat here. And I'm going really, I'm not working it as much. I'm going right. I'm like pulling the ink off or the paint off and going right to the stencil. I mean, I meant stamp. Haha. Okay. And then I'm going to place this here. And I'm just going to, and this is what I did. See that? You could even use this as your background if you want, because you get some like pebble on this one. Looks like a pebble. Now you have two you can pick from. You just made your own double-sided paper. Woohoo. All right. Let's see what this looks like. Much better. Much better. Love it. Really cool, right? So we're really extending our stencil butter life. And again, I'm just, for the purpose of this, I'm going to cover this with my wet wipe so it doesn't get all dry and gooky. So that is the rubber stamp. Now, I do not know how this will work with a, like a photopolymer. I'm not sure if it will stick. So that's something, I just knew the rubber would because I was using a rubber brayer. But if you guys want to try it, let me know. That would be great. Don't forget, if you do a couple of these, you can add them to your swatch book and already have a swatch challenge. So this is a bonus if you have the swatch book. And if you're not registered, you can still register. You have tons of time to register. All right. Are we having fun? Nina, that's why I watch it like a TV show, and then I do it whenever I can later. Okay, and add the what? Add the what? Hello. Hold on. I can't see the comments. I think it was Rosaria. She said add that, and then I think I see an ellipses, like 3 dots. Is that accurate? It's in my view, so, or in my, right where my camera, and add me, add you. Oh yes, to the swatch book. Yeah, your swatch book's in the mail, if that's what you mean. Okay, next, I think this is the last one. All right, so we did the press plate. We did the piping, which, give me a sec. It's still very wet. This is going to take a little while to dry too, just so you know, it's nice and thick. So we did the piping with mixing it with the model paste, the light and fluffy modeling paste, which I do have the large jars here at the store. And we just finished the rubber stamp. And now we are going to do acetate. So we're going to do a couple of different things with the acetate. So this is so cool. So this was the sample I made this afternoon for the class. And this is the acetate here. And behind this acetate is the stencil butter. And I had to tell you, it reminds me of like patent leather, kind of like that really shiny shimmer. And you can actually use the other side. So that's one sample I made. And then this is another sample. So this one is navy stencil butter. This is ocean. And then on this one, I took the Deco paint pen, the metallic gold, and I painted on the top. So the stencil butter is on this side, but even that is gorgeous. So you can use either side. It's phenomenal. I will say this might scratch off, but how cool is that? And then I was talking to Nina about this, and wouldn't it be cool if you took a panel like this and then took one of those Chibitronic lights like we have, I sell them here at the store, and you put a light behind it and then press, and then it lit this up, like kind of like stained glass. How cool would that be? So this is navy as well. And this is the ocean. And then this here, which I think is what I showed last week, maybe I did a sneak peek, add me to the raffle. Oh yeah, I have you to the raffle. Not a problem. So this is the acetate with 2 colors. And that's why I had bubble wrap on the list. You could actually probably use a rubber stamp. It's very similar to jelly print. So I laid the navy blue first, and then I put, while it was still wet, I put the bubble wrap on. We're going to do this. And then I went over it with the brayer in a second color. And I think that, might be watermelon. So we're going to do that. But the first thing we're going to do is this. And this one is the acetate, the stencil butter, and an embossing folder. And I actually should have done this first. I forgot. But we'll see what happens. So this one's a little bit harder to do because this likes to move around, but I think I have some tricks I do have some tricks to share with you to clean it up. I thought it might work if I just put a little bit of moisture here and it would like kind of suction. So let's see. You're going to grab your stencil butter. Hi, Tracy. And then, grab some stencil butter, swipe it onto your work surface there, and get your brayer ready. And we're going to bray it on. Now, you could brush it on, but I found that using the brayer got it the most consistent and smoothest. And I would work this out a little, your stencil butter, and just brayer it on. I will also, so you see it moved. See, this you just have to, if you're going to use this, you're going to want to oversize this, your acetate, bigger than what you want because you need to hold it with your finger. So I have an A2 panel. And I also found a light coat. Just do 1 light coat and then set it aside, let it dry a little bit. And usually my little batch here is still wet. I can use it for the second round. So I'm going to take my palette knife and I'm going to move it to the side. I'll lift it up carefully. And I'm going to, so this is the back side. This is the front side. So cool, right? This actually This one actually probably doesn't need a second layer. So you could tell by looking at how dark you want it. I'm going to grab another. I have one more sheet of acetate. I'm going to wipe this up because this will transfer to the front. But I have a tip on cleaning. So if you get stencil butter on your front of your acetate. So this one will do the two colors. So we're going to do the, sorry, memories, my mind's going. We're going to do the bubble wrap. And I will also say there's different kinds of bubble wrap. If you have the firm, there's one that's kind of firm. That would probably work the best. So I need to pick one more color, and I think I'm going to use the Gamboge, because I think that will be pretty against the turquoise. So depending on what you want as your base color is the one you're going to do first. I'm going to use the teal as my base color and then have where the bubble wrap removes the paint as the Gamboge. So that's this one here. All right, so we're going to take our acetate and we're also lay it down. I'm going to, and this one, you kind of have to work fast. You don't have to work super fast, but don't dawdle. Oh, and I also brayered the stencil butter onto paper, and it really came out nice too. It gave it like it was like a satiny look and a completely different texture. Now press your bubble wrap, while this is still wet, into your paint. Try not to slide it, otherwise you're going to end up with lines of bubble wrap. And I'm just going to peel this off. Oh, I think I want it a little bit more. Just like that. Nice, right? And there is the bubble wrap. Really nice. That turned out really nice. So I'm going to clean up my work surface. I'm going to set this one aside to dry for a couple seconds, air dry, so we can add the second color. I'm going to clean this off, and then I'm actually going to add another layer to the first one I did. So oddly enough, I was trying to do this as clean as possible, but I probably should have done this one first because this one takes time to dry. Lesson learned, didn't think that through. We're doing it. That's all that matters, right? Very cool, right? It is cool, right? I love it. All right, I'm going to come back. This is dry to the touch. This is what it looks like on the front. If you want it a bit more opaque, you just pretty transparent, add another layer. So I'm going to add another layer. And I noticed this is one pro tip. If you put this on really heavy, these layers, they don't actually emboss well. The paint actually comes off. And the other pro tip on the embossing is you want to make sure that it's really dry. I kind of was rushing mine and it wasn't completely dry. And so some of the stencil butter came off on the edges. All right, I'm going to leave that. And then once this dries, if you see that you have paint on the side, you just take a wipe and kind of take your nail. Don't scratch it too much because you will scratch the acetate, but you just scratch it a little, like rub it with some really firm pressure and it will come right off. And then I wanted to try my eyeglass cleaner on it because I found out the other day was making something with acetate and I got glue as usual on my acetate, my liquid glue, and I used my eyeglass cleaner. I've tried all kinds of other stuff. I used my eyeglass cleaner and it worked. It came off. I've tried alcohol. I think I've even tried Windex, but I put the eyeglass cleaner on and it took it off. I was pretty impressed. So we're gonna All right, my work surface is pretty clean. I want it somewhat clean because now I'm going to go to the yellow, and I really want that yellow to pop through. And I probably should really clean my brayer. So let's see how that works. Yeah. I should have grabbed another brayer. Who has more than one brayer? It's quiet. It's awfully quiet. Just heard the ice cream man go by. How much is an ice cream going for nowadays from the ice cream truck? Oh my gosh, you went to Snowflake last night? That place is off the wall, man. So good. I was going to go again tonight. But I had everything in bulk. So how many do you have, Rosaria? Like, what's bulk? Like 10? So if I was at home, I would be using my sink, and this comes off a lot quicker with this under the running water. It's super quick, actually. But I'm not wanting to leave you guys and gals. All right, so that's pretty good. You could roll this off on paper. I am going to roll it off on my towel. All right. Plus, this allowed me, gave me a little time for the butter to dry. It looks like it's dry over there. It is. It's for the most part dry. So this is the back side. This is where I applied the paint, or stencil butter. This is the front. So now I'm going to go in with the gamboge, the yellow. You can see 8. Whoa. I have I have some because of the store, but in my own personal stash, I have 2. I brought this one out. I think this one's for inking, which I just got in these really cool speedball kits where you can make your own stamps. You carve your own stamps. So cool. And that's what these are for. All right. So I'm going to grab a little bit of this out with my palette knife. Oh, look at that. So pretty. Talk about sunset, right? Woo! Love it. Oh, so let's see. Everybody that has stencil butter, right? Currently, what's your favorite color of the ones you have? Let's do 3. 3 of your favorite colors. I'm curious. I think mine is, I love the green pear. I don't know why. And I definitely love the navy. And I think watermelon. The green pear and the watermelon are so pretty together. All right, I'm going to now apply the second color to the back side of the acetate. And again, I'm just going to roll it out. I don't know, I'm kind of digging this mustard color. That's pretty wet. It's okay. This is going to be pretty awesome. Oh, it's okay, because I know my trick. All right, I think that's going to be pretty good. So I'm going to lift this up. You guys ready? Wow. Holy smokes. You love the navy. It's not taking the blue off. Wow, I know. Isn't that amazing? I love this. It's so cool. And it's not blending, which is super cool. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I absolutely love it. So I think it would be super cool with, I bet you could do it with a rubber stamp. But I don't have any, oh, you know what? I may have one small sheet of acetate hanging around. Do I? I don't think so. All right. So I'm going to clean this up, the little work surface here. And then we're going to run, I'm going to run this through the embossing folder. I'm going to show you how I clean the cover up too. But let me clean this up. And I just think I just love trying new things. Can you tell? And wow, this is like, it really is like mustard. Like, I kind of feel like Tim Holtz's mustard seed has not, well, I guess it is mustard seed, not yellow mustard, but, which I don't think a mustard seed is actually, well, it must be yellow if it's ground yellow, but I don't think it's yellow, like, until it's ground. Okay, fun fact, did you know you could make your own yellow spicy mustard with just mustard, dry mustard powder and water? I'm sure the restaurants add a little bit more, but if you're in a pinch. Okay. So that was a fun fact. We're going to go on to embossing this. So I'm going to use the same floral because I'm totally digging the floral plate. Did I show you guys this? I think I did, yes. So this here is the bold numbers, which I shared last week. This is quite a versatile kit. Better press and die set. And then this here, the class of, I actually hot foiled with the press plate, so it's black. And it probably would have been stood out a little bit more if I had popped it up. But this already has a lot of dimension. And why the hell would people make mustard? Wegman sells 500 kinds. I'll just say if you're at home and you don't have any mustard and you have dried mustard powder, because some people use dried mustard powder in their potato salad instead of mustard. Anyways, that's all I'm saying. So I'm going to use, so anyways, back to the, sorry, it got me off track. This is foil. Then this is also foil, glimmer foil, but they're press plates. And then of course some glitter cardstock, and actually I lied. We are not going to do the flower because I wanted to show you something. This happened to me and I just want you to see what to do. So we are actually going to use the tuft plate embossing folder, and the reason being is because when I ran this through, this curled because of the pressure. And so I want to show you how to fix that. Is that the floral plate 3D? Yes, it is, Tracy. It is, it's this right here. Isn't it gorgeous? I absolutely love it. Actually, we might be able to do both. So let's, this is pretty dry. I put the shiny, let me show you how to clean it before we do that. Makes it a little easier. So, I use mustard powder and mac and cheese. Yeah, see, that sounds delish, but I like mustard. So on this cover on the front, there's a little bit of ink here, and there's definitely some right here. So I'm just going to lay this down and try to keep your wipe to the front, because I do think you'll wipe it off. And I just kind of rubbed it. See? You just kind of get the coating that's on there off, if you have any. All right, so that's what I did. Worked great. Now, I'm going to put this with the shiny side up because that's what I want facing me. So on the Spellbinders, the facing up is the part where it says Spellbinders. So if whatever you want showing up is what needs to be up on the embossing folder when you put it in. So I'm going to put it in just like this. That looks pretty good. I'm going to put it over my machine. A little crooked. Oh, it's a lot crooked. And it's still a little, it's not completely dry, so we'll see what happens. I'm just gonna run this through. right, are we ready? Okay, this is what I was talking about. See how it curled? Hi, Kathy. See how it curled? It's from the pressure of the machine, because there's so much pressure. The Spellfinder machine is crazy. And so that's how this panel was. What I did was I took a full sheet of double-sided like score tape, and I trimmed it down, and I covered this whole panel with the double-sided score tape, and then I place it down, and it's sticking. It's working great. So that's how I was still able to use this. And I will tell you, once you put the double-sided adhesive on the background, this is actually more pliable. It moves a lot more. Right now, I feel like it will crack it, but if you, it's really kind of cool. If you put the double-sided tape on the back, but look how pretty, even this side, this is like a matte. I love this side just as much. So you could do either or. It just really depends on the look you're going through. Gorgeous, right? I know. So much fun. All right. Then what you would do is you would take your paint pen, and I actually just bought white ones in. I just checked them in today. You can take your paint pen, and I'm gonna color the little centers of the flowers on here. Just lightly take your paint pen and add your paint to wherever you want. And that's it. And that's how I got this. So cool, right? And they make different color paint pens. There's, you know, they're not all metallics, but there are different paint pens. And you definitely want a paint pen, like an oil base, so that it sticks to the acetate. And that's what we have. Isn't that cool? I love it, love it. So let's see if this is, oh, this is still wet. This is still wet. Otherwise I would run it through the embossing folder. Oops. But how pretty. I just love this. If you're into art journaling or junk journaling or anything like that, you could use this. And as I mentioned, if you use those Chibitronics lights, which we do have some in stock, I don't offer them on the website because of the battery, but I have them in the store. I think it would look like stained glass. I think it would be a really cool look. And then the other thing is you could, you know, put a couple different colors of the stencil butter and do different colors and do ombre or rainbow or whatever you want. I just stuck with the solids for the video. And then this was another sample. And I do think you could use a rubber stamp to get a different texture. I mean, you can use other things too besides bubble wrap. You could use the shelf liner, all kinds of stuff, right? I just had that handy. You can use aluminum foil and kind of like blop it, so, or, you know, dab it so it looks kind of crinkled. So all different kinds of fun stuff. And I think the other thing is I love the shine. So cool. All right, I think that's all I have. Let me put the different things we did into the camera here so you guys can see. So we did quite a bit. And then lastly, my cake with the piping. I just absolutely love this. So cool. I will tell you on this, there's numerous die cuts. I made it thicker. There's probably like 4 or 5 die cuts of the same shape glued together to give it a little bit of thickness. And the other thing you could do is sprinkle prism. Oh my gosh, I should have done that while this was wet. Some prism glitter right on top. Oh, that would have been great. You could add sprinkles. So the shaker pieces that look like nonpareils, I could have added that while that was still wet. That would have been a lot of fun. So there's some other things that you could still do with this technique as well. So this was the piping and mixed with the light and fluffy modeling paste. This is just with the brayer and the letterpress. This is with a 6x6 rubber stamp from Hero Arts, which I'm sure you can use any stamp. And then this is on the acetate, 2 different colors. Oops, it's still wet. With stencil butter. And then this is the stencil butter on the acetate through the embossing folder, with the embossing folder, but that is really pretty too. I really like this matte finish. So comment, let me know which one was your favorite, And if you want to come see the sample, I'll keep this here in the store for a little bit. I might end up selling it because it is graduation time. And I hope everybody has a great night. Don't forget tomorrow's card making. Pop and crop is tomorrow. The crop and schmear, if you have coupons for these crops, that crop and schmear is Saturday, and that you get bagels. I'm going to go to Black Sheep Bagels. And tomorrow is the Totally Canvas Day. So if you have a one of our canvas bags, you get savings on certain items with that as well. That's all day tomorrow. So tons of stuff, lots of stuff. I'm going to go because I have a meeting tonight and I still have to kit some stuff up. I hope everybody has a great night. I will do the drawing for the embossing folder the next time I do the craft along. I think it's next week. And I hope everybody has a great night. Thanks for joining me. Bye, everyone.